Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting Radio, EB Radio. EB Radio. Your station for empowerment presents Mom Boss Talk Radio, a show that brings real life, real moms, and real experiences to empower mom bosses everywhere to be ambitious, highly driven, fierce, fabulous, and fearless. Mom Boss Talk Radio begins now.
Welcome, mom bosses all over the world. It's another amazing Thursday, and that means it's time for another great discussion with the mom bosses. I am very happy and excited you are joining. Okay, this show is Mom Bosses, bringing you real life, real experiences to empower you as a mom boss. I am one of your hosts, Monyetta, and Jerisha will be joining us in future episodes. Okay, let's just jump into it. I quit. And I know a lot of people want to say that, okay? I quit. This is too much. I'm talking about business, okay? Getting into business and having unrealistic expectations and not fully understanding what it means to be an entrepreneur and jumping into it because you're thinking it is extremely easy and it's just going to be, a cakewalk. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not. It is far from easy. It is far from this dream that a lot of people on social media put out. It's not. It's a lot of sleepless nights. It's a lot of stress. It is overwhelming. And we as a collective, as any individual who's trying to get into an entrepreneurial space needs to know what they're getting into, right? So I wanted to dive into it because this is not an easy route, because of course you can go to a 9 to 5, you have your set hours, you have benefits, you might not like the job, but you know that it's going to pay the bills, right? You just have to follow your schedule. Well, as an entrepreneur, depending on how many, and it's not even really depending on how many businesses that you decide to start, even just starting one, that is 24 hours. You are customer service. You are, picking, packing. You are, accounting. You're every division. You're every department. We have to really open our eyes to the expectations that we kind of put into this. For instance, for myself, like sometimes this space, yes, I'm like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. But at the same time, it's like, I feel in my heart that this is where I belong, because it's not easy. It is a struggle to get up and running unless you have and you may see some people who start a business and it automatically sells out, or it automatically does so well. But you also have to understand too, a lot of people have a decent amount of either following, have really great marketing and some skills behind them to be able to push forward and creating a brand and having it be successful immediately. But for a good chunk of individuals who start a business, you probably won't get a sale within months. Okay, some people years. And it's not that it's something that you are doing wrong per se. It's just new. And that's where studying and educating yourself in different areas, such as marketing, social media, trends, accounting, money management. You don't necessarily have to have a degree in any of these things in order to be successful, right? It's just a matter of time, energy, and patience. I think we sometimes forget how much time you have to put into a business. And a lot of people are working. A lot of people are still working their regular job and then also, have kids and have families and then trying to pursue their business, and they're overwhelmed and they want to quit. And I completely understand that, because from time to time it's like, wow. But at the same time, I was like, I feel like I'm always doing so much at once. And someone told me, slow down, do one thing at a time. And it makes a lot of sense, especially if you're over analytical like myself. You always think, and you want to try to tackle as many things as you can. But you have to kind of acknowledge that you have to create those lists, those goals, and start checking them off one at a time. If you do too much, you're never going to check them off. Okay. So, with having realistic expectations into going into business or starting some type of entrepreneur journey, whether it be, YouTube, starting videos, or if it's, TikTok, trying to be big on TikTok. It doesn't necessarily have to be selling anything per se. You don't even have to, and please don't feel that you have to start a business just because you see all these people with these supposed, dream lives that's probably not real. You don't have to start a business to be successful. You really don't. I think a lot of people feel like I feel like some people feel like they're being pushed into that because they have no other choice, or they're stuck where they're at and they don't have much of a choice. I mean, it's okay to, educate yourself and change careers, not necessarily starting your own business, but going to a company that you feel is secure, right? So there's plenty of options. I just want people to understand you don't have to get into this entrepreneur space just because you see it all over social media, because it's not for everybody. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. Businesses is not for everybody. Okay. It's just not. But for those who are trying to dive into it, you have to set your expectations, just set them low. And then if you do exceed those, you winning. That's just a bonus. That's all that is. I think people feel lost, especially with the economy, how it is nowadays. People feel lost and they feel stuck. And I, speaking from my experience, I have fell into those little hard patches of feeling like either I'm not doing enough or I'm doing too much. So it's like finding a balance within it. Because look, but at the same time, I have a bigger picture. I see the bigger picture of what I want, what I'm trying to achieve, what I'm trying to tackle. And I think a lot of people have those big dreams and visions, which is great. I want you to think big, but at the same time, let's be realistic. We have to also, while we're on this, journey of being successful in entrepreneurship, we also have to understand we also have to follow the economy. We have to kind of tailor everything based on what the world is going through right now. So it's very scary, it's very hectic, especially if you're doing everything by yourself. You don't have that team, you don't, you don't have that, support system, and you're doing it on your own. It can be very intimidating, it's very stressful and overwhelming. But if you have a solid plan, everything will work out for the best. But it all comes down to your expectations, especially, if you're trying to follow social media influencers and things like that. It's not realistic. Yes, there are probably a very small percentage that is very successful based on just, starting something. But you have to understand they have the backing and the following and stuff like that. They can put out a shirt and people will buy it. They have that type of pull because they built it. And even with them, they had to build their audience over time, and a lot of times it took years to build that. So even for them, it wasn't easy. It's just us looking at them at their successful state. We're not looking at the hardships that they had to go through to get to that point of having a solid audience and having a solid customer base. And we all would love to at some point aspire to be in that position. And that's where we have to put ourselves in check. We have to be realistic, have those conversations with ourselves of, okay, you're not X, Y, and Z, you're who you are. And this is what you have to do to get to your dream. That's all that is trying to fully understand what it takes to get to that point, but with realistic expectations. Because I think for me, I really honestly think for me, I overshot it, or at the beginning of it, I overshot it. And I really didn't. This is like my second time around starting a business, because my first time I was uneducated. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was not, I was not researching. Oh, I'm just going to jump into it. And guess what I did? I jumped into that water and I drowned. Okay. I drowned. No life jackets, nobody reaching down to grab me. No, nothing. I had to learn. I had to fail in order to learn. And I'm still learning. It is still a process. I'm in the process of rebranding. Okay, because I'm in the process of learning, continuing to learn and to follow the economy as it is, and what people want and what people need. What's the current need, right? So it's just a wake up call for yourself. And this for anybody who's trying to get into this world, or is currently in the world of doing business and stuck, or feeling, burnt out or overwhelmed. What is your expectations? Like, you need to list everything. First, let's list your expectations. What are your expectations? And then start dwindling it down piece by piece. Okay, start with the lowest, get that checked off, and then work your way up to the highest. Because once you start checking off the smaller check boxes, then everything else will ultimately come easier to you. Because because I see a lot of people, just not feeling it anymore. I see a lot of people going back to work, and that's okay too. If you have to go back to work, if you have to restart everything, that's okay too. Even if at least you tried it, you figured, hey, it's not for me. So now what do I do? Now what do I do? And I know it can be very depressing. It can be very depressing. It can be very high anxiety to feel in your heart that it was something for you, but it just didn't work out. But my whole thing is like, did you slow down? Like, if you created a checklist and you checked everything off and it still wasn't what you expected or what you thought it would be, you tried. At least you tried. You gave it a chance. And it doesn't mean you don't come back to it. Maybe it wasn't the right time, right? Maybe it wasn't the right time to do what you were doing. Maybe you needed some time to regroup, figure things out, and then go back to the drawing board. And who's to say you don't have to? You can still work on your projects and things like that while you're trying to get yourself in order. I just want people to be realistic when it comes to business. This is not easy at all, especially for those who are introverts, for those who are not social at all, who is trying to get into a world where you have to talk to people and you have to, just interact. It is very hard. And I'm happy that I'm able to reach out and, be able to talk to people online and in person, and try to step out of that, make connections and things like that. But even then, holding on to those connections can be very hard too. And that's a whole nother conversation. But I want people to keep their expectations low when it comes to this. Have big dreams, but keep your expectations low at the start. And then just, grow. It'll grow. That's all that is. I want people to keep that in mind. And while you're doing it, make sure you take care of your mental health. Don't overdo it. Don't strain yourself mentally or physically. When your time comes, your time will come. Sometimes it's not your time, and sometimes it's not for you. And I think that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, that something may not be for them. And that's just reality. And I hope that people, take this, and hopefully it resonates with somebody that's probably having a rough time making that decision, or feeling like they can't really shift and move appropriately. It's just your expectations. That's all. That is it, and that is all. And I hope, and I really hope, that you find your path, and that you can kind of see where you fit in. But always have big dreams. Always have big dreams. But also realize sometimes your path may send you in a different direction. Something that's either way better or it's really truly meant for you. So definitely create those lists, start checking them off, because this is not for this type of industry of entrepreneurship is not easy. And I don't want people to come in thinking that it's just going to be roses and just flowers and all the things. No, it is tears, it is sweats, it is sleepless nights, it is, missing meals because you forgot to eat because you're doing 200 things at once. And it can be, at the beginning, it can be very tough. But once you get your bearings, it will improve. It will definitely improve. And I am speaking from experience. Okay, I hope this helps somebody. I really do. And definitely go to Facebook, Mom Boss Talk Radio. We have discussions over there. We drop some gems and all of those things. Make sure you share. We're on all platforms and all of the things. We are on Instagram. But, we're in the process. We're talking about rebranding. Guess what? We're going to be rebranding Mom Boss Talk Radio. We're going to keep the same name, but we're going to zhuzh it up, okay? We're going to zhuzh it up, and, everybody's going to love it. We're working on some great things, and I am very happy you tuned in. We are Mom Bosses on a mission to empower moms all over the world. Mom Bosses, remember to be ambitious, highly driven, fierce, fabulous, and fearless. You are making moves. You got this.
Thank you for joining us on Mom Boss Talk Radio. Follow each of the Mom Bosses on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you love Mom Boss Radio, visit the website at www.envisionedbroadcasting.com. We'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes. Until next time.